can the very things we cherish most deeply, the sources of our greatest joy, actually be the wellspring of our deepest sorrows? It's a truly counterintuitive idea, isn't it? But it's precisely the profound question we're going to unpack today.
Indeed. We're plunging into an ancient text known as the Seven Piyajātikasuttaṃ. A sutta, for anyone may be unfamiliar, is essentially a discourse or teaching, and in this case it comes from the Bhagavan, who many know as the Buddha. This particular sutta, it's a really powerful piece of wisdom. It explores that, well, often uncomfortable yet sort of undeniable connection between attachment and suffering.
Right. And our mission for this deep dive is to trace this timeless wisdom, follow it through a pretty fascinating series of encounters, this narrative thread, and ultimately figure out what it truly implies for us, here and now. What does it really mean when this ancient text claims that those born from what is beloved are sorrow, lamentation, pain, grief, and despair?
Exactly. We're setting the scene in the ancient city of Savatthi within the serene grounds of the Jetavana Monastery.
Okay, so where does it start?
Well, it begins with a profoundly human catalyst, a distraught householder. His beloved, his only son, has died, and his grief is just absolute. The text paints such a vivid picture of his loss. He can't work, can't eat. He just keeps going back to the cremation ground, crying out, "Where is my only son? Where is he?"
Wow, that's incredibly powerful. Anyone who's experienced loss can feel that. So this householder, he seeks out the Bhagavan.
Yes, he does. And the Bhagavan immediately sees his state,
Yeah.
notes that his senses are not as they should be, clearly distressed. The householder explains his sorrow, his overwhelming grief, and that's when the Bhagavan makes his central and, quite controversial statement.
The core assertion.
Exactly. He says Gahapati, which means householder, addressing him directly. So it is. Those born from what is a beloved, Gahapati, are sorrow, lamentation, pain, grief, and despair. They arise from what is beloved.
And the reaction, I imagine that didn't land well.
Not at all. What's immediately striking is the householder's quick, very strong rejection. He argues back, quite adamantly actually, saying, no, what is beloved also gives rise to joy and happiness. He just cannot accept the Bhagavan's words, sees them as totally contrary to his own experience. And so, clearly displeased, he just leaves.
He doesn't just leave quietly, though, right? He goes somewhere else.
Right. He immediately runs into a group of dice players nearby. And maybe he's looking for some validation, He tells them about his conversation with the Bhagavan.
Seeking backup. That's very human.
It really is, isn't it? When you hear something that clashes so hard with your own feelings, especially about love and loss, you kind of want others to agree with your take. And what happens? The dice players, they completely agree with the householder. They also believe joy comes from what's beloved, which, of course, just makes him feel even more certain he was right to disagree.
So as you're listening to this, hearing that initial statement from the Bhagavan and the immediate pushback, what stands out to you? Do you find yourself maybe siding with the householder and the dice players, thinking, hang on, that can't be right?
It's a tough one. The narrative then takes this intriguing turn. It shows how fast these profound, maybe unsettling ideas can spread. Word of this conversation, it actually reaches the royal palace. It gets to King Pasenadi of Kosala.
Okay, so it reaches the king. And is he convinced?
Far from it. He shares the Bhagavan's statement with Queen Mallikā, his wife, expressing his own deep skepticism. But surprisingly, Queen Mallikā immediately agrees with the Bhagavan.
Oh, interesting. How does the king take that?
Not well. He actually scolds her, compares her to a disciple who just blindly agrees with their teacher. He even dismisses her, saying something like, "Go away, Mallikā, Karish." Pretty harsh.
Yikes. Okay, so the king's totally skeptical, even angry. Queen Mallikā is known for her wisdom, though. How does she handle this? Does she argue back?
And this is where it gets really interesting. No, she doesn't argue. That probably would have just made him dig his heels in more. Instead, she comes up with this remarkably clever plan. She sends her Brahmin, a man named Nalajanga, directly to the Bhagavan.
Sending an emissary.
Exactly. And her instructions are very precise. Confirm the exact words spoken and report back faithfully. She even says, Tathagatas, meaning Buddhas, do not speak falsely. It's a smart move to establish the credibility of the source.
So Nalajanga goes to the Bhagavan. What happens?
Well, sure enough, the Bhagavan confirms his original statement, repeats it almost verbatim. It is so, Brahman, it is so. Those born from what is beloved, Brahman, are sorrow, lamentation, pain, grief, and despair. They arise from what is beloved.
Okay, confirmation received. But just repeating the statement might not be enough, especially for the Brahmin to take back. Does the Bhagavan elaborate?
He does much more than elaborate. He provides these powerful, real-world examples to illustrate his point for the Brahmin. He moves beyond just stating the truth.
Examples, that make sense. What kind of examples?
They're crucial because they ground this, abstract idea in actual human experience, makes it tangible. He tells the story of a woman right there in Savatthi whose mother died. And her grief was so intense, so profound, that the woman actually became insane. She just wandered the streets, desperately asking everyone she met, "Did you see my mother? Did you see my mother?"
Wow. That's a stark picture of how loss tied to love can completely unmoor someone.
Exactly. And he doesn't stop there. He broadens it out. He details how the same devastating sorrow happens when other beloved relatives die, a father, brother, sister, son, daughter, husband, or for a man, his wife. In each case, the person is described as becoming distraught, wandering, searching.
So it's showing a pattern. These aren't just isolated tragedy.
Precisely. They're illustrations of how these deep bonds, when there's that element of clinging, can become the very source of our deepest despair. It's maybe not the love itself, but the attachment, the clinging to what's beloved, that seems to be the root of the suffering he's pointing to.
That's a key distinction. What other examples does he give?
He gives an even more extreme one. A woman whose relatives tried to force her apart from her beloved husband. The connection was so intense that both of them actually chose to die together, believing they'd be reunited in the afterlife.
Goodness. That really underscores the intensity of suffering when those attachments are threatened or broken.
It does. And each of these tragic stories, each anecdote, concludes with the same powerful affirmation. By this Brahmin, it should be understood that those born from what is beloved are sorrow, lamentation, pain, grief, and despair. They arise from what is beloved. It really hammers home the point through these compelling human stories.
Okay, so the Brahmin, Nali, he hears all this, the confirmation and all the examples. He heads back to the queen.
Yes, he returns and faithfully relays the entire conversation, all the examples, everything, to Queen Mallikā. Now the question is, armed with this confirmation and these powerful stories, how is Mallikā going to convince the still skeptical King Pasenadi? This is where her wisdom really, really shines.
Right, because just repeating it might not work on him. What does she do?
You're absolutely right. It's a masterclass in persuasion, really. Instead of just repeating the Bhagavan's words or the stories, she flips it. She masterfully turns the tables and asks King Pasenadi a series of very pointed questions about his own beloved attachment.
Ah, making it personal for him. That's smart. Why is that so much more effective, do you think?
It's brilliant because it takes it out of the realm of abstract philosophy and makes it immediate, personal, experiential for the king. She's not just telling him something, she's guiding him to feel the truth of it through his own life, his own loves. She starts close to home. Is Princess Vajiri dear to you? That's his daughter.
Okay.
Is Vashapateya dear to you? His concubine or wife? Is General Vidudaba dear to you? His trusted general? And then maybe the most direct one, am I dear to you? Mallikā herself.
Powerful questions. How does the king respond?
For each one, he admits how deeply he cares. Profound affection. And crucially, he confesses that if anything bad happened to any of them, any harm, it would cause him immense grief. He even says it could potentially affect his own life, his well-being.
And that's the connection she needs.
That's the aha moment. Exactly.
Yeah.
Each time he admits his love and the potential pain, Mallikā gently connects his own lived experience right back to the Bhagavan's original, seemingly harsh statement. She unveils the truth through his own undeniable feelings.
So he sees it for himself.
Absolutely. The result is this dramatic realization from the king. He exclaims his astonishment, his admiration for the Bhagavan's deep wisdom. He acknowledges how profoundly the Bhagavan penetrates with wisdom and sees. It's this powerful moment where his intellectual doubts just dissolve when faced with his own emotional truth.
That's quite a turnaround from "go away, Mallikā, perish."
It really is. And as a public display of this change of heart, the text says King Pasenadi stands up, faces the direction where the Bhagavan is, bows, and declares his homage 3 times. It's a complete public reversal from his initial skepticism, all thanks to Mallikā's incredibly skillful demonstration.
A fascinating story. So stepping back, what does this entire narrative, this deep dive into the 7 Piyajātikasuttaṃ, what does it really mean for us today?
Well, it lays out a core truth. And yeah, it can be an uncomfortable one. Our attachments, even to the people and things that bring us the most joy, the things we cherish most, they are inextricably linked to our capacity for sorrow, for lamentation, pain, grief, and despair. They arise from the same source.
It's that profound, maybe unavoidable connection between love and loss that this ancient text just lays bare so clearly. How does this wisdom resonate with your own understanding, or perhaps challenge your understanding of love, loss, and happiness?
And it leaves us with this thought, doesn't it? If what is beloved is also the source of sorrow, how might really internalizing this perspective change our approach to forming attachments? Or could it even maybe redefine what it means to live a truly fulfilling life without being constantly overshadowed by the potential for future grief?
A very deep thought indeed, something definitely worth mulling over long after this deep dive ends. It really invites us to look closely at the nature of our own deepest bonds.